Have you at any point thought about whether pleasuring yourself could be calmly damaging your wellness as you age? As we become more seasoned, looking after our prosperity turns out to be considerably more vital. And a few things that appeared guiltless in our childhood can have unforeseen outcomes later on in existence. Assuming you're beyond 65 years old, you might not have acknowledged that one specific propensity, something frequently excused as normal and benign, could be placing your well-being in serious peril. In this video, we're jumping into the unforeseen risks of a subject rarely examined transparently. How habitual. Self-love after the period of 65 may have unexpected impacts on your frame and overall well-being. While this is a natural part of living, ongoing conversations among therapeutic specialists reveal that in certain instances, it can add to bodily and mental wellness issues that numerous elders face without knowing the foundation. Stay with me until the very end, since what you assimilate today may just switch the way you reflect on your physical condition. We'll investigate the true influence of this habit on your ticker, neural complex, and intellectual function, particularly how it can subtly disturb energy degrees, temper constancy, or even long-term heart and vascular wellness. By the end of this video, you'll have a more profound comprehension of what's genuinely occurring inside your anatomy, empowering you to make knowledgeable verdicts about your prosperity. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. If you don't like it, type 0 in the comments to let me know so I can make better videos for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Unpredicted stress on the cardiovascular structure. One of the maximum omitted risks of consistent self-stimulation after the period of 65 is the impact it can have on the ticker and overall heart and vascular wellness. While this activity may appear absolutely unrelated to ticker function, the truth is that any interest that raises ticker rate and arterial pressure, especially in brief, intense bursts, can place unpredicted stress on an aging heart and vascular structure. For younger people with sturdy elastic arteries, this might not be a concern, but for older grown-ups whose circulatory structures obviously become less flexible over time, this sudden rise in ticker rate can sometimes lead to irregularities, lightheadedness, or even a better risk of cardiac episodes. Reflect on consideration on the last time you engage in light exercising, like taking walks up a flight of stairs or carrying groceries. You possibly observe your ticker working harder, your breathing changing, and perhaps even a slight feeling of exhaustion. Now imagine that same kind of bodily response happening in a moment of intense, but short interest, except in this instance you're not prepared for it. Your physique doesn't have the gradual warm-up or pacing that comes with intentional exercising, which means a spike in ticker rate can be more abrupt than you realize. This sudden heart and vascular stress is why some older grown-ups have stated feeling lightheaded, fatigued, or even experiencing irregular ticker rhythms afterward. Take the case of someone like Arthur, a 72-year-old retired engineer. Arthur had always considered himself relatively healthy, managing his diet well and staying dynamic. However, he started noting that after certain private interests, he felt an unusual tightness in his chest and a sensation of being more out of breath than usual. At first, he brushed it off, but after one particularly uncomfortable episode, he decided to point out it to his doctor during a routine checkup. To his wonder, his physician explained that these signs weren't uncommon in guys his age, especially those who had a historical past of high arterial pressure or minor ticker troubles. While Arthur didn't need to stop completely, his doctor advised him to pay closer attention to his body signals and to keep away from overexerting himself in a way that his ticker wasn't conditioned to handle. It's critical to understand that this isn't about fright. It's about consciousness. Many elders aren't even aware of how their frames respond to this interest modifications with age. As the physique gets older, recovery time after any exertion takes longer. The ticker muscles and circulatory structures don't bounce back as quickly as they once did. A sudden rush of bodily effort without preparation can be more taxing than predicted. While occasional interest isn't always necessarily dangerous, habitual, or prolonged intensity could be placing stress on an aging heart and vascular structure without you even realizing it. If you've ever noted a sudden sense of exhaustion, lightheadedness, or even mild discomfort in your chest after engaging in this habit, it might be worth paying attention to. Your physique is speaking to you, and recognizing these signals can make all the distinction in preventing unnecessary stress on your ticker. Number 2, neural complex fatigue and energy depletion. Another unforeseen effect that few humans talk about is how habitual self-love can lead to neural complex fatigue, leaving you feeling exhausted, torpid, or even mentally fogged. The human physique relies on a balance of energy, hormones, and neurological signals to function optimally. And as we age, this balance becomes more fragile. While this activity might feel like a stress reliever in the moment, it can truly add to long-term exhaustion, making you feel more tired throughout the day without fully understanding why. Reflect on consideration on it this way. Your neural complex is like a battery. Every action you take, whether it's bodily activity, emotional processing, or even mental focus, draws energy from this battery. When you were younger, that battery recharged quickly, and your physique could handle higher stages of stimulation without much consequence. But as you age, the ability to replenish that energy slows down. What used to be a simple act of relaxation in your younger years may now be taxing on your neural complex, leading to prolonged durations of fatigue, sluggishness, or even difficulty concentrating. Consider the experience of someone like Samuel, a 69-year-old retired teacher. Samuel started noting that he felt inexplicably exhausted throughout the day, often struggling with low energy in the mornings and needing multiple naps to get through his routine. He had always assumed that fatigue was just part of aging, but when he cut back on certain habits for a few weeks, he was surprised to find that his energy stages improved. He felt more alert, more focused, and even noted that his sleep quality got better. The connection became clear. Overuse of certain bodily structures can lead to depletion, and recognizing this allowed him to make adjustments that benefited his overall well-being. The reason this happens is largely tied to neurotransmitters, those tiny chemical messengers in your mind responsible for temper, motivation, and energy. Interests that stimulate the release of dopamine, the mind's pleasure and reward chemical, can feel good in the moment, but excessive stimulation can lead to a phenomenon called dopamine burnout. This is where your mind's sensitivity to pleasure decreases over time, leading to feelings of lethargy, low motivation, or even mild depressive signs. In younger years, the mind is resilient enough to bounce back quickly from these fluctuations, but as we age, the neural complex takes longer to recover. This is why some older grown-ups who engage in this habit habitually state feeling more sluggish than they used to. It's not about stopping entirely, it's about understanding your body's changing limits and making choices that help you maintain energy rather than deplete it. If you've ever felt an unusual sense of fatigue, lack of motivation, or difficulty concentrating without an obvious cause, consider whether this habit may be playing a role. Adjusting your frequency and paying attention to how your physique responds could make a noticeable distinction in your daily energy degrees. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here with me. Your feedback helps me continue to bring you the information that matters most. Number 3, disturbed sleep patterns and expanded restlessness. One of the maximum omitted consequences of habitual self-love in older grown-ups is its impact on sleep quality. Many humans assume that engaging in this habit before bed will help them loosen up and fall asleep faster. And while that might have been proper in younger years, the reality modifications as we age. Instead of leading to deep, restful sleep, it can truly add to nighttime restlessness, habitual awakenings, and an overall feeling of not being well-rested the next morning. Sleep is a sensitive process controlled by a complex interaction between hormones, mind activity, and neural complex regulation. One of the key players in this process is melatonin, the hormone responsible for signaling to your physique that it's time to wind down and rest. However, Engaging in interests that trigger a surge of dopamine, the pleasure and reward neurotransmitter, can interfere with melatonin production, making it harder for your physique to transition into a restful state. This is why some humans find that, despite feeling relaxed immediately after, they end up tossing and turning later in the night. Consider someone like Gilbert, a 74-year-old retiree who always prided himself on being an early riser. But over the past few years, he started noting a frustrating pattern. He would fall asleep easily, only to wake up multiple times throughout the night. No matter how many adjustments he made to his bedtime routine, he couldn't shake the feeling of waking up groggy and unrest. It wasn't until he assimilated about how dopamine and melatonin interact that he realized the connection. By making small adjustments to his habits before bed, Gilbert was able to sleep more soundly and wake up feeling refreshed rather than fatigued. Another issue that often goes unnoticed is how this habit can add to an overactive neural complex right before sleep. Many elders already struggle with conditions like restless leg syndrome, nighttime muscle cramps, or general sleep disturbances due to aging. When a neural complex is overstimulated, especially in the evening, it can make it harder to fully loosen up, leading to light, fragmented sleep rather than the deep restorative sleep the physique needs to function optimally. This is critical because poor sleep doesn't just leave you feeling tired the next day. It has a cumulative effect on overall wellness. Studies have proven that continual sleep disruption in older grown-ups is connected to expanded inflammation, higher risks of memory decline, or even a weakened immune system. When the physique doesn't get enough deep sleep, it struggles to restore itself, making it harder to maintain mental sharpness, bodily strength, and emotional well-being. So, if you've been experiencing poor sleep, habitual nighttime awakenings, or a general sense of fatigue in the mornings, it may be worth considering whether this habit is playing a role. Small modifications, such as adjusting the timing or frequency, can make a significant distinction in enhancing sleep quality and helping your physique recover properly. Number 4. Expanded risk of prostate irritation and urinary troubles. One of the most unforeseen consequences of habitual self-love in older grown-ups is its potential impact on prostate wellness. Many guys assume that normal activity in this area keeps things functioning smoothly, but as we age, the physique reacts differently. For some, overuse can lead to expanded prostate sensitivity, mild inflammation, or even a heightened risk of urinary discomfort that wasn't an issue in younger years. The prostate obviously enlarges as guys age, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH. This enlargement can sometimes press against the bladder, making it harder to fully empty, leading to habitual urges to urinate, especially at night. When this area is overstimulated, the surrounding muscles and tissues can become irritated, expanding the sensation of needing to go to the bathroom more often. Some guys find that after engaging in this habit habitually, they experience a temporary feeling of tightness, a weaker urine stream, or even mild burning. While this isn't always a cause for alarm, it's something worth paying attention to, especially if these signs start to interfere with daily comfort. Take someone like Lewis, a 71-year-old retired construction worker. Lewis had never had serious urinary trouble before, but he noted that he was waking up more often at night to use the bathroom. At first, he thought it was just part of aging, but after discussing it with his doctor, he assimilated that overstimulation of the prostate can sometimes make these signs worse, temporarily expanding inflammation and sensitivity. His doctor recommended taking a break from habitual activity to see if his signs improved, and sure enough, within a couple of weeks, his nighttime trips to the bathroom became less habitual, and he felt more comfortable overall. Another omitted aspect is how habitual stimulation influences pelvic floor muscles. The pelvic floor is responsible for supporting bladder control, and as we age, these muscles obviously weaken. When overstimulated, they can become fatigued, leading to occasional leaking, sudden urges, or difficulty maintaining full control. While this might not be noticeable at first, over time it can add to a gradual decline in urinary function. For guys who already experience mild urinary troubles, this is especially critical. If you've noted an increase in urgency, occasional dribbling, or difficulty fully emptying your bladder, consider whether habitual stimulation might be contributing to the problem. Making small adjustments, such as reducing frequency or incorporating pelvic floor exercises, can help maintain better urinary wellness while reducing unnecessary strain on the prostate. If any of this sounds familiar to you, take a moment to listen to what your body's telling you. Your comfort and well-being are worth paying attention to, and small modifications can make a big distinction. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. Your feedback helps me continue providing information that supports your wellness and quality of living. Number 5, hormonal imbalance and temper swings. Another unforeseen effect of habitual self-love after 65 is its potential impact on hormone balance and overall temper. Many humans don't realize that this activity is tied to the release of key hormones that regulate energy, emotional constancy, or even intellectual function. While it might feel like a temporary stress reliever, engaging in it too often can lead to subtle but significant hormonal fluctuations that leave you feeling emotionally unsteady, irritable, or even slightly down in the days that follow. Hormones like testosterone, dopamine, and oxytocin all play a role in how we feel. On a daily foundation, when you engage in this activity, there's a temporary rush of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure and motivation. However, habitual overuse can lead to something called dopamine depletion, where your mind's sensitivity to this chemical is reduced over time. This can make everyday interests feel less enjoyable, leading to a cycle where it takes more and more stimulation to achieve the same degree of satisfaction. Some guys find themselves feeling unmotivated, easily frustrated, or even experiencing mild depressive signs without realizing why. Take someone like Oscar, a 68-year-old former accountant who had always been a level-headed and positive person. But over the past year, he started noting unexplained temper swings. One day, he felt energized and focused, and the next he felt sluggish and easily irritated. It wasn't until he took a step back and evaluated his daily habits that he realized the connection. After making a few modifications in spacing out the frequency of this activity, he noted that his temper stabilized, his energy felt more consistent, and he didn't experience the same emotional crashes that had started creeping into his daily living. Another critical factor is testosterone regulation. While younger guys produce this hormone at high stages, production obviously declines with age. Habitual stimulation can sometimes lead to temporary dips in testosterone, which may add to expanded fatigue, reduced motivation, or even subtle modifications in muscle tone. Some studies suggest that excessive release of certain hormones, like prolactin, can further suppress testosterone, leaving guys feeling less energized and more prone to emotional ups and downs. This isn't to say that all activity is bad. Far from it, but moderation is key. If you've been feeling emotionally off balance, struggling with motivation, or noting subtle modifications in your overall temper, it might be worth considering whether hormonal fluctuations are playing a role. Giving your physique more time to reset between instances of stimulation can help restore normal hormone balance, leading to more stable energy stages and a greater sense of well-being. If you've ever experienced this kind of emotional roller coaster without an obvious reason, you're not alone. Many elders go through these modifications without realizing the underlying cause. Small adjustments can make a significant distinction in how you feel each day. Number 6, reduced sensitivity and diminished pleasure over time. One of the lesser-known effects of habitual self-love after 65 is how it can lead to a gradual decline in sensitivity, making it harder to experience the same degree of pleasure over time. Many humans assume that this activity is purely beneficial, helping to maintain function and circulation. However, what often goes unnoticed is that overstimulation, especially when it becomes a habitual part of one's routine, can lead to desensitization, meaning that the physique responds less intensely than it once did. The human neural complex is designed to adapt to repeated stimuli. When the same type of stimulation occurs too often, nerve receptors can become less responsive, requiring stronger or more prolonged stimulation to achieve the same effect. This is why some older grown-ups note that the sensations they once enjoyed don't feel as sturdy as they used to, or that it takes more effort and time to reach the same degree of satisfaction. In some instances, it can even lead to frustration, as what once felt effortless now seems to require more focus and effort. Take the case of Clarence, a 73-year-old former musician. Clarence had always enjoyed an active lifestyle and saw no harm in keeping certain habits from his younger years. But over time, he noted a subtle but undeniable shift. What once felt effortless now required more time, and the sensations weren't quite the same. At first, he chalked it up to aging, but after hearing from others with similar experiences, he realized that excessive stimulation had played a role. After adjusting his habits and allowing his physique more time to reset between instances, he noted an improvement in overall sensitivity, making the experience feel more natural and enjoyable again. Another factor at play here is nerve fatigue. Just like any other part of the body, the nerve endings responsible for sensation can become overstimulated when exposed to the same repetitive activity too frequently. This can result in a dulling effect, making responses feel weaker than they once were. Additionally, excessive dopamine release, especially in short bursts, can alter how the brain processes pleasure, sometimes leading to a reduced ability to feel excitement or anticipation in other areas of life. The good news is that this process is often reversible by giving the body more time to recover between instances of stimulation. Many people find that their natural sensitivity improves over time. This isn't about stopping altogether. It's about understanding how to maintain balance so that experiences remain enjoyable rather than becoming frustrating. If you've ever felt that things don't quite feel the same as they used to, or that it takes more effort than before, know that you're not alone. Many people experience this change without realizing the cause, but small adjustments can make a significant distinction. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. Your engagement helps me continue providing content that supports your well-being. Number 7, increase feelings of loneliness and emotional detachment. One of the most overlooked consequences of frequent self-love in older adults is its potential impact on emotional well-being and social connections. While this activity might seem like a harmless way to relieve stress or pass the time, excessive reliance on it can sometimes contribute to feelings of isolation, loneliness, and emotional detachment from meaningful relationships. Human beings are wired for connection. Emotional intimacy, physical touch, and deep personal interactions play a crucial role in overall happiness and mental health. When masturbation becomes a primary outlet for comfort or stress relief, it can reduce the motivation to seek out real social engagement. Over time, this can lead to an increased sense of disconnection from others, making social interactions feel less fulfilling or even unnecessary. Consider someone like Walter, a 75-year-old widower. After losing his wife, Walter found himself spending more time alone, filling his days with routines that felt familiar and comforting. Over time, he noticed that he wasn't reaching out to friends as often, and even when he did, socializing felt more like an obligation than a genuine desire. He didn't immediately connect the dots, but eventually he realized that his habit of relying on solitary activities for comfort was subtly reinforcing his isolation. Once he made a conscious effort to balance his personal time with more social engagement, whether through joining a local group, attending community events, or simply reconnecting with old friends, he found that his overall mood improved and the feelings of loneliness became much less overwhelming. This kind of emotional detachment isn't something that happens overnight. It's a gradual shift, one that often goes unnoticed until feelings of isolation become more pronounced. The brain forms habits based on reward cycles, and when a quick source of comfort is readily available, it can sometimes replace the motivation to seek deeper, more meaningful interactions with others. This is why some older adults find themselves spending more time alone without realizing that certain habits may be reinforcing that pattern. There's also a psychological aspect to consider. Engaging in meaningful interactions with others, whether it's a conversation, a shared experience, or even something as simple as a handshake or a hug, triggers the release of oxytocin, a hormone associated with bonding and emotional connection. When social interactions decrease, oxytocin levels can decline, contributing to feelings of loneliness and even mild depressive symptoms. If you've ever found yourself feeling more isolated than you'd like, or if socializing has started to feel less rewarding than it used to, it may be worth reflecting on the role that certain habits play in shaping those feelings. Making small adjustments, such as setting aside dedicated time for social activities, reaching out to old friends, or engaging in hobbies that encourage human connection, can help restore a sense of balance and fulfillment. If this insight resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on your own experiences. Social connection is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining emotional health as we age, and even small changes can have a lasting impact. Number 8. Increased risk of pelvic floor weakness and bladder control issues. One of the lesser-known consequences of frequent self-love in older adults is its potential effect on pelvic floor strength and bladder control. While most people associate pelvic health with younger individuals or those recovering from medical conditions, the truth is that as we age, the muscles that support the bladder, prostate, and lower abdomen naturally weaken over time. Excessive strain in this area, especially when done frequently or with too much intensity, can contribute to pelvic floor fatigue, leading to subtle but frustrating changes in bladder function. The pelvic floor is responsible for maintaining proper bladder control, supporting internal organs, and ensuring stability in the lower body. When these muscles weaken, it can result in increased urgency, occasional leakage, or difficulty fully emptying the bladder. Many seniors assume that these changes are just part of aging, but they may be unknowingly exacerbating the problem without realizing it. Consider someone like Harry, a 70-year-old retired mechanic. Harry had always been in good health, but he started noticing that he was making more frequent trips to the bathroom, especially at night. He also realized that he sometimes felt a slight loss of control when sneezing or laughing, something he had never experienced before. After researching the connection between pelvic floor health and frequent stimulation, he decided to reduce the frequency and incorporate simple pelvic exercises into his daily routine. Within a few weeks, he noticed a real difference. His urgency decreased, and he felt more in control throughout the day. This issue is more common than many people realize. Overuse of the pelvic muscles without proper recovery. Time can lead to muscle fatigue, much like any other part of the body. Just as overworking the arms or legs without rest can cause soreness and reduce strength, excessive strain on the pelvic region can cause temporary tightness, discomfort, or reduced ability to maintain full control. Another important factor is nerve sensitivity. The nerves in the pelvic region play a crucial role in regulating bladder function. When overstimulated, they can send mixed signals to the brain, creating a false sense of urgency or causing the bladder to react unpredictably. This is why some people notice an increase in nighttime awakenings to use the bathroom, even if their overall fluid intake hasn't changed. The good news is that these issues can often be managed with small lifestyle adjustments. Reducing frequency, incorporating simple pelvic floor exercises, and paying attention to how your body responds can help restore control and reduce unnecessary strain on these important muscles. If you've ever noticed unexpected changes in bladder function, increased urgency, or occasional leakage, it might be worth considering how certain habits impact your pelvic floor strength. Small changes can lead to noticeable improvements in comfort and confidence. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights is valuable, please comment number 8 below to let me know you're here. Your engagement helps me continue providing content that supports your well-being. Final thoughts as we wrap up this video. Take a moment to reflect on everything we've covered. Many habits that seem harmless in our younger years can have unexpected effects as we age, and masturbation is no exception. From its impact on cardiovascular health and nervous system fatigue to its role in hormone balance, sleep quality, and pelvic floor strength, it's clear that moderation and awareness are key. The goal here isn't to create unnecessary worry, but to provide valuable insights that help you make informed decisions about your well-being. One of the biggest takeaways is that your body is always communicating with you. If you've noticed changes in energy, mood, bladder control, or even overall satisfaction, paying closer attention to your habits could reveal patterns you hadn't considered before. Small adjustments, whether it's reducing frequency, improving sleep hygiene, or focusing on social engagement, can have a significant impact on how you feel each day. The good news is that many of these effects are reversible, and by being mindful of your body's needs, you can maintain a sense of vitality and confidence well into your later years. So now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these insights stood out to you the most? Have you noticed any of these changes in yourself? Or do you have personal experiences to share? Your thoughts matter, and this is a space where we can learn from one another. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.